Good morning, everyone. Today I am finally putting together my review of the Lykke Tunisian crochet hooks. I've been working on this for a while. I wanted to make sure I gave the crochet hook a full test before I did the review. And I do want to point out that the crochet hook was provided for me from the company itself to review. So I didn't buy the crochet hook, it was provided for me. However, I will do my best to be unbiased. I'm just going to take it off my project right now so we can look at it more closely, and I'll put it back on in a moment. Alright, so these are really beautiful crochet hooks. This is a driftwood color. They have the same colors for their knitting needles as they do for the crochet hooks, for the driftwood. I do have a few comments about the color options. I'll get back to that at the end. These are handcrafted and assembled in Nepal. And from the website, it sounds like they are made by human hands instead of by machine, so that's pretty cool. Now, I do really like the shape of these crochet hooks. I'm hoping that you can see it pretty well. I'm going to pull out some of the Knitter's Pride Tunisian crochet hooks I have so I can compare the shape of the heads for you. So these two, they're kind of like an almond shape, see? And they're pretty pointy at the end, but I do find them a little bit awkward to work with sometimes. They're not bad. Now this hook head, and this is a different size. This is an I while the other two were J, but it's not a huge size difference. It's a much more geometric shape. The top part is rounded and smooth, and then it has that really nice sharp point. And the throat is not overly deep. I personally found it really easy to get into my stitches even when it was pretty tight. And the hook itself is a decent weight. It's not really heavy, it's not overly light. It felt good. Like it wasn't, I'm trying to find the right words for it here. Some crochet hooks are too light, so it feels like you're not holding anything. It wasn't like that. But it wasn't so heavy that it was taxing my hands either. I'm kind of more into wood crochet hooks for that reason now. They do seem to be the correct weight for me. Now if we look at the end, oh, I mean, I guess it is a J. This one's a 6mm. Okay, so the size is printed on the end. And if I run my finger over it, it does have a texture. And I'm not sure how well you can see it, but it's not printed on top. It seems to be imprinted into the metal, which is good. I mean, it's much harder to wear them off if they're inset instead of printed on top. Now the cap is black, as you can see, but the connector works with pretty much every interchangeable crochet or knitting cord I've tried so far. From what I understand, most companies use the same manufacturer for the cords themselves, so they're kind of interchangeable. Anyway, let me just quickly put that back on. If you want it to stay, you would use the key, of course, but we're just gonna do it real quick. I do kind of wish that this part was black so that it would match a little better, but that's just an aesthetics thing. It's not like important. They're very well polished, so they do go through the stitches really nicely. And this is just some hand spun that I'm working with right now. This project has been in my bag for a couple days now, just working on it on my lunch breaks. So yeah, the return pass is not particularly problematic in any way. I didn't notice any cracks or rough spots, and most of the issues I've had have been with my hand spun yarn rather than with the crochet hook, which is normal for me. So you just work like that. All right. And it's because of the nice pointy head, when I'm going back into the hooks for the I'm going into the stitches for the forward pass, it gets into those stitches really nicely. Now, as for pros and cons, I do have a couple. I would not say they're huge issues. My first issue is with the cords they come with. I find them very stiff. It's pretty much been stuck like this since I unwrapped it. It just immediately curls back to shape. However, as I said, it does seem to be interchangeable with like the Knitter's Pride cords and the Knit Picks cords, and some of them are a little bit more pliable, so you could just use those. Now, the second issue is, I mean, not really an issue per se. Some people might have issue with the price. So from what I've seen, a set is roughly $140, which is right up there with the Knitter's Pride Ginger set. It's pretty similar in price. I personally like the case better on the Ginger set. Yeah, the price is about $140 for a set. And at the moment, it doesn't look like they're selling the hooks individually yet. Now that part's a bigger issue for me, because if I'm working in the round, I'm going to need two in the same size. However, I did email the company, Lykke, who makes the crochet hooks, and they are hoping to sell them in the future. I think right now they're just having manufacturing, like they need more craftsmen, I guess, which is completely understandable given how things are, and not a huge issue. I'm pretty confident they'll sell them in the future, as they sell all the different knitting needles and the not Tunisian crochet hooks separately. Now, what I was looking at and getting excited about is when I first messaged them, I had mentioned in the email that I wanted more color choices, because they only had the driftwood Tunisian crochet hooks. And she mentioned that there were more colors coming up, but up to this point I hadn't seen them. But when I just looked up the prices, the first seller has both the Indigo, which is like the denim colors, and the Umber, which is browns, available as interchangeable Tunisian crochet sets. So that is awesome. Those are now available. You have 3 color options for a set. I am very happy about that. Personally, I want the Indigo set, and I'm hoping they do a blush set in the future too, because I think it'd be really cool for me to be working in the round with one hook in Indigo and one hook in blush. Like, that would look awesome. But yeah, I have no complaints about the hook itself. Most of my issues are with the cord, which is not, as I said, a huge deal, because you can just use cords from a different company. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I didn't mention yet. I'm going to show you the hook next to the Knitter's Pride one more time, just so you can see the shape difference. The Knitter's Pride one is a 6.5, while the Lykke is a 6. And I guess the size of the stitches, I believe, has more to do with the throat than the head. So it is true that the head itself is a lot smaller. It reminds me more of the heads on metal crochet hooks. Like that. It's a similar shape. I really like it. It's more what I'm used to. It's closer to the hooks I use for actual crochet as opposed to Tunisian crochet. And it does get into the stitches well. So you'll definitely see this in a lot of future projects. This is a driftwood color. I'm pretty sure I'm going to the beach next week. So guess what's coming with me to the beach? That's right, driftwood crochet hook and a beachy colored yarn. So I hope this review was helpful to you, and if you have any questions, please leave them below. Thanks for watching.